Thankfully, I am one half of the Big White House Instagram account. Let's be honest, it's my baby.
Disclaimer!
I am not a
financial advisor, property tycoon, mortgage advisor, investor, bank.
This is just my opinion, my thought. Yeah. No, this is our first time. We're first time buyers. We've never owned a property before and never renovated before. So yeah, complete rookies, complete beginners. We're pretty much just learning as we go along. So enjoy the journey. Okay, so there was stuff I was identifying that I didn't like. Like, yeah, I'm not keen on that window. Maybe I don't like low ceilings. The more houses we viewed, I think it just became natural that we created this hypothetical list in our minds. But what was on the list, I think eventually I definitely wanted an old house. We wanted to be able to renovate something that was in a good condition but not done. 3 bedrooms or more. Had period features, high ceilings. What else? Oh yeah, I had loads of stuff on my list. Garden, but not too much garden. Near friends and family-ish. Still close to the city, be in an area that was gonna, you know, increase in value. Good sized bedrooms. I think they were the things that were on our list. Oh, a million tips. There's just so many along the way. This is just my opinion. I'd say if you've not bought a property yet, I would strongly suggest opening a Help to Buy ISA or a lifetime ISA. Actually, you can't open a Help to Buy anymore, so a lifetime ISA. I personally would, if I was doing it again, I'd open a lifetime ISA. There's free money to be earned from the government. We pay our taxes, so when they're giving money away for free, why not take it? Like, the lifetime ISA is much broader. You can buy a much more expensive property. Yeah, there's just loads more benefits, so have a look online if you want to know more about the lifetime ISA. Ages. It took us ages. Okay, I say I was looking for probably a year or so before we actually started looking properly. Because we've been married for 2.5 years, and I think when we got married, I'm always on to the next thing, like what can we do next, what can we do, in terms of like building a home and all of that stuff. So I'd been looking just casually, and then it got to a point when we thought, actually seriously, we might start looking. And then we became pregnant, so we really started looking properly and intentionally. We thought, oh, it's going to take a month or something, we'll find something and whatever. But oh gosh, it took forever. Probably because we had unrealistic expectations. I say me. We had unrealistic expectations of what could be achieved in one property as your first house. I was just looking for stuff that was like a unicorn, basically. I wanted a drive, but in the city with, you know, loads of land, but not too much, because I didn't want a garden too much. I wanted this and da-da-da. And some of the things we got, but some of the stuff just wasn't realistic. And it's like, you've got to figure out what your deal breakers are. Yeah, what was the question even? It took us long to get to the point, but when we found the house, the whole transaction was wrapped up really quick. Essentially, we made an offer on the Saturday. They weren't in the office, so we had to wait till the Monday. And then on the Monday we had, can you actually up your offer a little bit? Up the offer, and they accepted. So it literally took us a day, one working day, to secure the house. And they said they really liked us, and that's why I think they accepted it.
Rewind.
We had been looking for ages, and it got to about, I think it was about August time, maybe, end of July, August, the year just gone. We had not found anywhere. I was, 6 months pregnant by this point? About 6 months pregnant, obviously getting more and more like itchy because I'm trying to just get a house and get settled and all of that stuff. Yeah, we just got to a point where we thought, actually, rather than getting a house within our budget that we felt indifferent about and would just be buying it for the sake of it, we decided to go back to the drawing board and maybe look at what the best option is that we could get for our money. We actually found an apartment that we liked. It was a penthouse apartment. It had 2 floors in the city centre, a really good size rooms. And yeah, it was pretty cool, and we thought we could make it like a little bit of a bachelor pad for a couple that were married. We actually placed an offer on that. Offer was accepted, begun the process, got the lawyers involved. It was all going on till Jesus said no. Mm-mm. And thank God, because there were so many issues with that property. That's a whole story in itself. It was literally about 2 months before I was due. We actually pulled out of the sale. Basically, long story short, we found out some information that meant that we didn't want to proceed with that particular purchase. So it was like a Friday evening or afternoon. I was at work and I found out and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm having a baby in 2 months. Like, I wasn't the most tolerant person at that point. We spoke about it and decided that we were just going to go back to the drawing board and look for something else. That night, we went on Rightmove. I actually found this property. I showed Erin. The next morning, we called and tried to arrange a viewing. So it was a Saturday. And I was like, hello, I'd like to arrange a viewing for this property. And one was like,
excuse me, we're actually fully booked and we can't fit you in.
and then I was like, well, if you actually let us view this property, we legit might buy it. So do you want to make it happen? And she was like,
yeah, actually, I can fit you in. It'll be a quick viewing there. And I'm like,
sure, honey, anything. Went to view the house. In fact, I think we drove past the house the night before because we knew where it was. Just had a quick look. Like, yeah, we're into it. So let's go and view. So we went to go and view it. Literally, we walked in the door and the couple were like, oh, let me just finish sprucing it up, whatever. So we waited literally in the doorway. We turned to each other and we were like, I love it. Do you love it? Do you love it? So everyone was like, play cool, play cool. Because I was getting super excited because I loved the hallway. I loved the height of the ceilings. It was just really got me from the minute we walked in. And it's a bit like your wedding dress. They say, oh, you'll just know when you know, you just know. You do get this moment where you just think, oh, this is it. This is the right thing that I've been looking for. Yeah, Defo's got the feels when we came to see this property. So I found it on Rightmove. I had been using Rightmove and Prime Location purely because I'm not really into purple, and Zoopla's purple and I just didn't vibe with it. But Zoopla is really good if you're trying to look for house prices and previous sale purchase prices and all of that stuff. And Rightmove is cool because you can set alerts for the types of houses you're looking for. It got to a point for me where I was literally refreshing every day. My friend lives like few minutes down the road. We were both looking for properties at the same time. You can literally set it so that you only see properties that have been uploaded in the last like 24 hours or something. So we kind of became a bit obsessed with it. Next question. It was just intense. There are just so many layers to it. When you're doing it the first time, you don't really anticipate all the layers that are involved. Once you've done it, it's not that hard. Like, you look back and think, actually, it was kind of easy, but it's because you know what's coming, whereas before you don't know what's coming, do you? So in terms of finding the property and moving forward from that, it was quite easy. But like finding a lawyer, you need a conveyancer. Let me Google it. Conveyancer. You have to hire a solicitor to do the conveyancing.
something like that.
Negotiate and liaise with the estate agent, get your surveys done, and there's just lots of people involved. It can be not that straightforward sometimes because everybody's working to different authorities and different schedules, so you kind of really have to be on top of it. So the process was kind of stressful. I think for us it was a bit more stressful because we had other things to consider. So by the time we actually got the offer accepted and whatever, on the Friday we were buying an apartment, and by the Monday we weren't buying the apartment and we were buying a house. But I think because of the extra pressure, it made us be more realistic. This is a great house, this is a great location, it's got 90% of what you want, it doesn't have a drive, life goes on. Don't pass up the opportunity to get such an amazing house within your budget. There weren't many like this that were coming on the market. Yeah, this was a great opportunity, so we just thought, go for it, bite the bullet. And the lawyer and the survey and all of that, we had to start again, which was annoying because we'd lost that month and a half or something. We had the time constraint of trying to move into the property before we had the baby. Some people were like,
oh, it takes 3 months to, get it all to go through.
It takes as long as you push. I'd say on average, it can be done between a month and 3 months, but you have to push. Like, you have to be calling people up. When they say, yeah, we'll give you an update once a week, I'm like, there's 7 days in a week. If we're trying to meet a certain deadline, then we need to know what's happening. Like, sometimes you can help speed the process up by being that intermediary and calling between the two, estate agent and the surveyor, or the estate agent and the lawyer, or the lawyer and the whatever. You know, there's lots of people in the queue, and unfortunately you're not going to be priority, so you have to just take matters into your own hands. I was about to have a baby, so I felt like it was pretty justified. Lawyers are renowned for being a difficult part of this process, and we had a nightmare situation. So basically, we started off with one property, and you fill out all this paperwork, what the property is, are you happy with this contract, this, da, 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 da. And then obviously ours changed like a month and a half after. So when we did that, I said to the lawyer, is there anything else you need for us to sign in order to seal this deal and confirm that we're changing property that we're purchasing? And he was like, no, it's fine, I've just basically amended the address. And so I was like, yeah, cool, you got this. He didn't have it, definitely didn't have it. Nearing the end of our transaction, we didn't hear from him, and I called up and I was like, oh, I'm waiting to hear back from the lawyer. And they are like, oh yeah, he's gone on holiday. Bearing in mind we were meant to be exchanging, and they left us in the hands of this guy who had no idea. At first it was cute, and by the end of it I was getting more and more frustrated as I was getting more and more pregnant. He didn't leave any key information. They didn't know what they were doing. They weren't chasing it up. There was a whole chain of people after us that were relying on our transaction to go through so that our vendors could move into their property and move into their exactly. And then I think it was about 2 days before we were meant to actually exchange. For us, the completion and the exchange were happening like pretty much the same day or a day after one another. So about 2 days before that point, they called us up and were like, yeah, you can't get the help to buy 25% on top of what you've saved. The bonus was a few thousand. They were like, yeah, you can't get that because your property's over £250,000. And it is in the small print, and it does say it in the terms and conditions. The various people that were involved in the process, the mortgage advisor, the lawyer, the estate agent, they ask you a million questions when you're about to buy a property, but none of them had said anything. So the lawyer was like, oh, it's because you changed properties. Yeah, that's why we didn't say. And I'm like, but you know what property we're buying, and we're specifically employing you to help us with this process. You know where our deposit's coming from, you know how much we need from the government, so you budget for everything. This money's going towards a renovation, this money's going towards a deposit, this money's going towards the lawyer's fee. And obviously that was like a big hit. They were like, yeah, you can't get the bonus, so here's the bill. You need to find this extra money. It was just a bit of a crazy time. Thankfully we were able to do it. Just saved us kind of, you know, in the last minute, when it could have literally all fallen through. So yeah, definitely check everything yourself, read everything yourself, be thorough, ask every question that you possibly can. If you feel like you're being annoying, be annoying, because it's their responsibility ultimately as your advisor to help you and to point out pitfalls and point out things to make sure that you're prepared for this transaction to happen. Yeah, so that was kind of stressful, you can imagine. But I was at work, I was on the phone to him like, do you know how much stress you're causing me? And I was just yelling at him, definitely didn't hold back. So anyway, moral of the story is check. There is a lot of paperwork. Make sure you read everything thoroughly. It's your pocket and your life that's going to be affected. Learn your lessons, kids. Just thinking of all the furniture that I could have bought. If you want to stay in touch with us and see what we're getting up to on our renovation journey, then you can follow us at Big White House on Instagram. Let's chat. Thanks for watching.